Iran will respond like never before. That was the phrase that sent shock waves across the Middle East after renewed warnings from Donald Trump. It wasn't diplomatic language. It wasn't vague posturing. It was a direct threat. And it was followed by something even more alarming. Iranian officials openly suggested that U.S. aircraft carriers, including the Abraham Lincoln, could be targeted, even sunk, if a conflict breaks out. At the very same time those words were being broadcast, the United States was already reinforcing its military presence across the region. Additional U.S. aircraft were being sent to regional bases, including RC-135 Rivet Joint Surveillance planes designed to monitor Iranian radar and communications, and the 11 aircraft that act as airborne command and communications hubs. Over the water, the Abraham Lincoln continued its deployment, escorted not only by multiple destroyers, but also by a nuclear-powered attack submarine operating silently beneath the waves. So the question becomes unavoidable. Is Iran bluffing, or are we approaching a point where words could turn into action? At the same time Iran was issuing threats, the United States was already moving. The USS Abraham Lincoln was directed into the Middle East and placed within the U.S. Central Command Area of Operations, a region that includes the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz, and waters just off Iran's coastline. This is not a symbolic deployment. The Abraham Lincoln is sailing as part of a full carrier strike group. Alongside it are several Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers, including the Spruant, the Michael Murphy, and the Frank Peterson. These ships are designed not only to shield the carrier, but to strike targets at sea and on land if ordered. Below the surface, a nuclear-powered attack submarine is believed to be shadowing the group. Silent, fast, and extremely difficult to detect, this submarine adds a critical layer of deterrence, giving U.S. commanders the ability to strike without warning while remaining hidden. Together, this force forms what military planners often describe as a steel umbrella, a heavily protected naval formation built to operate under constant threat in one of the most volatile regions on Earth. And that leads to the question analysts keep asking. What would it take for this armada to move from deterrence to real combat? While the ships grab headlines, some of the most important movements are happening quietly in the air. The United States has repositioned highly specialized aircraft toward the Middle East. Among them is the RC-135 Rivet Joint, a high-altitude surveillance aircraft designed to intercept radar emissions, military communications, and electronic signals. These planes give U.S. commanders a detailed picture of Iranian military activity in real time, from radar activations to command chatter. Flying alongside this intelligence effort is the E-11, an aircraft that acts as a flying communications hub. In a conflict where networks could be jammed or destroyed, the E-11 keeps ships, fighter jets, and ground forces connected, allowing operations to continue even under electronic attack. Electronic warfare is another key piece of the puzzle. Growler jets designed specifically to disrupt enemy radar and air defense systems have been reported moving toward the region. These aircraft would be critical in any kinetic operation, blinding Iranian defenses and clearing paths for strike aircraft. Supporting all of this are Combat King II aircraft, which specialize in combat search and rescue. Their presence suggests planners are thinking ahead, preparing to recover downed pilots if the situation escalates into open conflict. Combined with fighters already deployed at regional bases, this aerial buildup gives the United States intelligence dominance, communications resilience, and electronic superiority. And again, it raises the question, are these assets here just in case, or because decision-makers believe they may soon be needed? The Abraham Lincoln itself is a Nimitz-class nuclear aircraft carrier. Essentially, a floating air base. From its deck, dozens of aircraft can be launched, including F-35C stealth fighters capable of penetrating advanced air defenses and delivering precision strikes deep inland. Alongside them are F-18 Super Hornets, multi-role aircraft that can engage enemy fighters, suppress air defenses, or strike ground targets in the same mission. Electronic warfare growlers operate with them, ensuring enemy radar systems are disrupted throughout any operation. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyers escorting the carrier are equipped with the Aegis combat system and vertical launch cells filled with missiles. These ships can defend against aircraft, drones, cruise missiles, and even ballistic missiles while also carrying weapons capable of striking land targets hundreds of kilometers away. Overhead and at sea, everything is connected. Radar data, targeting information, and commands flow across the group, turning individual ships and aircraft into a single integrated combat system. This is what allows the United States to project air and naval power without relying on regional bases. A critical advantage if those bases come under attack. Iran knows it cannot match the United States ship for ship or aircraft for aircraft. Instead, it relies on asymmetric tactics. Iranian officials have made it clear that if attacked, they would respond using missiles and drones, potentially in large numbers. Analysts believe that swarms of unmanned aerial vehicles combined with cruise and ballistic missiles could be used to overwhelm defenses rather than defeat them outright. That is why threats against the Abraham Lincoln are taken seriously. The goal may not be to sink the carrier outright, but to damage it, disrupt operations, or force the U.S. Navy to pull back. So, the next question is unavoidable. Can U.S. defenses handle a coordinated barrage from multiple directions? At sea, the destroyers escorting the carrier rely on the Aegis combat system to track and intercept incoming threats. Using missiles like the SM-3 and SM-6, they can engage ballistic and cruise missiles at different stages of flight. If anything slips through those layers, close-in weapon systems like phalanx provide a last line of defense against incoming drones or missiles. On land, the United States has reinforced regional bases with Patriot PAC-3 systems and terminal high-altitude area defense known as THAAD. Patriots are designed to intercept aircraft and lower-altitude missiles, while THAAD targets ballistic missiles at much higher altitudes, even outside the atmosphere. Together, these systems form a layered shield designed to blunt Iran's ability to retaliate effectively. Right now, everything is aligned. Iran is issuing threats of unprecedented retaliation. The United States is positioning a carrier strike group, a nuclear submarine, advanced surveillance aircraft, electronic warfare jets, and layered missile defenses. Both sides insist they do not want war, yet both are preparing for it. And history tells us that moments like this are the most dangerous because if either side miscalculates even slightly, the Middle East could be pushed into a conflict with consequences far beyond the region. So the final question remains, will diplomacy prevail, or are we watching the opening moves of a much larger confrontation?